Hey everybody, and welcome back to the 9 Frames podcast. This is episode 15th, and today is Friday, August 25th, 2023. Yes, I did get the date correct this time, folks. And we're unfortunately, I'm Bill Whalen.
I'm Mike Whalen.
And you could catch us on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast, catch us on Spotify at 9 Frames, and X at 9 Frames Pod. Also catch us on playergm.com. Thank you, folks.
Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, too.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, getting into baseball, we're going to have to start with some very, very sad news. Kind of the saddest news you can get in this sport right now. Shohei Ohtani tears his UCL for a second time and will not pitch again for the remainder of the season.
Very tough. Probably cost himself a good chunk of change, too.
Yeah, pretty wild. I mean, obviously no blame on him.
Yeah.
Nothing you could do about it.
Absolutely not.
Just as unfortunate as it can be, because that's going to be a second Tommy John surgery if he opts for it.
Yeah, it would be a second time already.
And there's another option of him not going for Tommy John surgery, but that would basically end his pitching career forever, and he would just be a DH/outfielder.
I don't really know, even if he gets it done, though, do you think, a pitcher that has had Tommy John 2 times is rarely good?
Yeah, not only is it going to be a weakened arm, thinking that his stuff is going to get probably a little bit lighter, but also that risk of re-injury is always so scary.
I understand, medicine's at, an all-time high right now, but, dude, I don't know if they could fix his arm that way for a second time and then him to go out and be dominant.
Really sad to see that we could be looking back on Ohtani's career and thinking about how crazy it was that he was able to pitch and hit for a little while.
A 5-year, 6-year stretch.
And then he ends up playing maybe 15 more years as a hitter. Who knows?
Yeah, but the thing about him is he's definitely good enough to make a lot of money and just be a hitter.
Yeah, no, he will make a lot of money and be a hitter, but I don't even know how the market looks after this injury. It's so weird.
You think that if he decides he's done pitching, do you think he becomes an outfielder, or does he stay as a DH?
No, I think he would be a right fielder slash DH. I think a lot of the time it would be DHing.
It'd be kind of funny to see him play first base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why not? He's very tall. Yeah, but moving on to some, I guess, happier news. The Yankees finally snapped their 9-game losing streak. They got a 9-1 win on Wednesday over the Nationals.
It took 3 home runs from Aaron Judge.
Yeah, it really did. And if they lost that 10th game, that would have been their longest winning streak or losing streak since 1913.
That's crazy.
Absolutely insane. And they did lose the next game to Washington as well, so that would have made 11.
They still dropped the series to a last-place team. Well, they are a last-place team themselves, so I guess it's not that far-fetched.
I think it is, unfortunately, for Yankee fans, pretty safe to say that the nail is in the coffin there.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
They are a 0% chance to make the playoffs on Fangraphs.
I mean, what are they're 10 out of the wild card. Man.
Yeah, they're hanging around with the Angels, who are 10.5 back, so that's tough.
Yeah.
Moving on to some happier news, though. Even though this was kind of rough to see, Seattle lost finally to snap their 8-game winning streak. That was in 10 innings to the White Sox on Wednesday. So they nearly had a 9-game winning streak, like we said. That would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, and they also just, the Rangers have continued to lose, so they still have made up ground.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Rangers because they've been very disappointing, but Seattle has been the complete opposite.
Second-place team now.
And they sit 1 game back. They're firmly in the second wild card spot, or is it third? No, second one. Yeah, and Houston gets the third as of right now. Mm-hmm. Really impressive stuff from Seattle. Shout out to them.
They've been really, really good recently.
Just wanted to finish off a couple series that we talked about on Wednesday's episode. Milwaukee takes the last one of the 2-game set versus Minnesota 8-7. That gives them a 2-game sweep over Minnesota. And that San Diego versus Miami series, San Diego takes the last one 4-0 to take 2 out of 3 from Miami. So, I mean, big games to win on the stretch if you're going to make a run, but we don't know about the San Diego team anymore, right?
I think San Diego, we were saying it last time, I think this is basically it for them.
It's just getting to be too much. They're kind of treading water. They've been 6 games back for a week and a half now.
Yeah,
it's just not going anywhere, unfortunately.
5-5 in the last 10. You can't really make up ground unless you're positive, you know?
Yeah, we got a little bit of time, so we'll keep an eye on them, and maybe they make a run, because they do have a 3-game series against those Milwaukee Brewers this weekend.
Yeah, but that could also hurt them further.
Yeah, it could hurt both of these teams.
The Brewers on a 5-game win streak. They're hot right now.
Yeah, it could really hurt Milwaukee, too, because San Diego's just playing good ball against another team who was hot in Miami. Milwaukee's only 3 games up on the National League Central right now, so you got to think this could be a swinging series. San Diego's 6 back in the wild card, like we said. It's been like that for a while.
Yeah, Miami's starting to fall back a little bit here.
Starting to kind of just, again, like I say, tread water. They've been around 1 or 2 games back for a week and a half now. You got to make a little ground up.
Especially with the Diamondbacks surging right now.
And dropping 2 out of 3 from a team like San Diego, it's the last thing you want.
Yeah.
I thought this was super interesting. I saw this yesterday on X. The Yankees, St. Louis, and the Mets, these are obvious. They could win all their games and have a worse record than 22. Houston could win all of their games for the rest of the year and have a worse record than they had last year.
That's crazy.
That just goes to show how good Houston was last year.
They're having a down year, and they're still only a game out of first place.
It's really wild stuff that they have just been so good for so long. The opposite, these are just teams that you got to feel happy for. The Cincinnati Reds, the Washington Nationals, and the Texas Rangers could lose all of their remaining games and have a better record than 2022.
The Nationals have been really good recently. I mean, they're 7-3 in the last 10. They're about to put the Mets in the basement.
It is sad to say that a team that won the World Series as recently as them, being 10 games under 500 is good for them, but
but I mean, dude, you'll take it. Like, they won their first World Series. Unfortunate news just came out.
That's going to be the last thing we talk about,
regarding that team. Steven Strasburg now plans to retire.
Yeah, we just wanted to give our respects to Steven Strasburg. He's been around the game for so long, and he's just a highly respected pitcher.
World Series MVP. He was the guy.
A real veteran of the game. He's pitched to Pudge Rodriguez, and he's pitched to kids that we're watching today, like Keibert Ruiz. Did he pitch to Keibert Ruiz?
I don't know.
Probably not. I think he was too hurt.
The thing is, like, he after he signed that 7-year deal and after the World Series, he's only made 8 starts.
Yeah, that's the thing. Really disappointing stuff for Strasburg and that Washington team. To see him go out with an injury like this, it's pretty sad.
Yeah, you never want to see somebody who was the guy was the number 1 overall pick. Like, he was so highly regarded, and it's just a terrible way for a season and a career to end.
Yeah, nothing but respect for him, and I think he'll be remembered fondly in baseball history.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially by Nationals fans. He got them to where they wanted to be.
So we'll start talking about we'll finish up talking about the midweek series and set you folks up for the weekend.
We're going to kick it off with the NL and what I think is probably the most highly anticipated series of the week the midweek.
I would
toward
say
weekend.
so. Yeah, big 4 game, right?
Yeah, it's a 4 game that starts on Thursday and goes through the weekend on Sunday. The first game was a wild one, honestly.
Reds visiting the D-backs for this series.
Yeah, the Reds and D-backs are kicking off a 4 game. The first game, like I was just saying, was a pitcher's duel until the bullpen came in. Merrill Kelly for the D-backs and Brandon Williamson for the Reds.
Yeah, shout out Brandon Williamson for getting it down a bit and actually dueling with a guy who we are just saying is an absolute stud.
Yeah, he was nasty yesterday. Kelly went 7 innings, only gives up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, so that's just 1 base runner in 7 innings. 12 strikeouts.
Quite literally like the perfect pitching line that you want from a guy, especially an ace like Merrill Kelly. He stepped up in this spot here.
And the thing that sucks is he could have kept going. He was ready to start the 8th, but his hamstring tightened up on him, so he was removed from the game.
Respect to the trainers for catching that and pulling him because, I mean...
You don't want it to get worse.
Yeah, you have such a phenomenal start and a year. Let's just keep it intact.
They end up winning the game anyway, so... he's not supposed to miss any time.
No, and I think the best part about that is it's probably because of when they yanked him, is that he won't miss time.
Yeah.
If you push him through there, maybe it hurts it worse.
Yeah, there's no need for it.
So like we said, though, Brandon Williamson, I'll give him credit because his line is 6 innings pitched, 6 hits. He didn't give up a run either, just on 1 walk, and he gets 6 Ks in that. I mean, he was phenomenal for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you need from a team that's in the middle of the wild card race.
You can't ask for much more. I think what you can ask for is for the bats to just try to get to Merrill a little bit more, try to help Brandon out.
A little bit more. They got 1 base runner in 7 innings. They didn't do anything against him.
Very true. Not a lot of teams are this year, but still.
Like I said, the scoring starts after the both starters get pulled. Jace Peterson singles in Nick Ahmed to make it 1-0 for the D-backs, but some really bad base running kills the chances for more. It was like a double off the right field wall. It looked like it would be a stereotypical double.
Right.
And Will Benson fields it. He throws it in. For some reason, they hold the guy up at third, and then everybody gets caught up, and he tries to run home, and he's out by 2 miles.
Yeah, not really sure who's at fault there. Was it the third base coach, or was it a mental lapse on the player?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look it back, but if the third base coach held him up, that's really bad, because it was clearly a double.
Really crazy to see in a game that's so close, and it ended so close,
Regardless of who's at fault, it's really bad, because I thought it was a clear double off the bat. Benson turned around and looked at the wall, like, you got to know.
Right, yeah.
regardless, it's only 1-0, so they don't really. I mean, it's pretty bad for the D-backs. They could have got a lot more. Senzel then homers in the top of the 8th, his 10th of the year, and Tyler Stevenson singles to give the Reds a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, really big to see, and this is where that base running error comes to bite them. Can they bounce back?
Yes, they absolutely did. Young all-star and probably Rookie of the Year favorite, you'd say?
It's got my vote.
Yeah, even as a Mets fan with Senga, I think you still have to
Senga
give it
gets
to...
my second place vote, but,
Corbin Carroll hits his 22nd home run. It's a 2-run homer off of Alex Young to give the Snakes a 3-2 lead, and that would be all she wrote because Paul Sewald comes in, shuts it down in the 9th for his 28th save of the year.
Phenomenal stuff. The big arm that they just traded for gets it, and, man, I love Corbin Carroll's game. He's just... When a guy's got pop like that, and he's
Five-tool player.
So damn fast.
He's legitimately he is a 5-tool player.
And, a blur on the base paths and an absolute menace at the plate.
Paul Sewald's now under a 3 ERA.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This was a really good trade, and I'm telling you, the Mariners could use him right now.
2.94. I mean, they absolutely could, but
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't think we can say that the Mariners trading him has affected them negatively.
No, I think it's that the Mariners.
They knew they didn't really need him because they had.
I was gonna say I thought the Mariners front office just kind of didn't know they were gonna have such an electric second half.
Yeah, I guess maybe
It
not.
kind of caught them by surprise.
But like we were talking about way back on the trade deadline ups, like you can easily replace a reliever.
I still don't think that's really true, man.
It is. It clearly is. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
That's just because they have other good relievers.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah, well,
because
I
they found
guess.
people to
It's
replace
It's not easy to
It's
build a pen.
It's the easiest to replace by far. Besides like bench bats,
Right.
that turnover is always crazy.
Game 2 should be a fun one because these guys have good stuff. They've been struggling on the year. Hunter Green has a 2-5 record and a 4.72 ERA with that electric fastball. And Brandon Falk coming off a phenomenal start.
Yeah, he took a no-hitter into the 7th.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. He's 0-6 with a 6.13 looking for his first win on the year. That would be huge.
I mean, I think the offense is going to be alive a little bit more for both sides tonight.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, given the matchup.
Ball should be flying. Big outfield in Arizona.
I think it probably is going to be like that for the remainder of the series, given the pitching matchups.
The finale will be Graham Ashcraft.
Well, Game 3, too.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Game 3. Yeah, Game 3 will be to be determined for the Reds. So maybe an opener.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Against Zach Davies, who is having a really ugly year, man.
You never want to see it for somebody like Zach Davies.
He's a 1-5 record with a 7.38 ERA. I mean, just bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean...
Now the finale. That will be Graham Ashcraft, who has one of the best cutters in the game. Kind of weird.
Kind of puzzling that people hit him.
Weird that people hit him so much when he throws 97 on 98 on a cutter. I don't think I'd ever touch that thing. Forget that.
I definitely don't think I could.
7-8 on the year with a 4.84. So, I mean, like, it's a hitter's game, but those numbers aren't looking great.
Yeah, and he's going to be taking on Slade Ciccone. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But
Phenomenal name.
yeah, I mean, he's 0-0, 2.93. He's only been up for 4 games.
Yeah, the kid. I mean, your name's Slade.
Yeah, he's started 2 games and come out of the pen twice, and this will be his 3rd start. So
That's the name of a star. I hope he pans out.
he has looked good so far. He's got a 2.93.
Yeah, like we
15
said,
innings.
the reason this series is so huge is because it definitely has the most playoff implications this weekend. We see the Snakes win the first game 3-2, as we said, and that literally made them take the 3rd wildcard spot from Cincinnati.
Yep, they're back in now.
Cincinnati's a half game back with 3 games to go. I mean, do or die. Let's do it.
What do you think's going to happen in the final 3?
Yeah, with those pitching matchups, I do give the edge to Cincinnati. I want to say on all. No, I honestly, is it bad that I like TBD more than Zach Davies in that second game?
No, given his numbers, no.
That 3rd game, I'm liking TBD more. So I'm not gonna lie, I could see the Reds taking 2 out of the next 3 and splitting the series. I honestly, that's the most reasonable way I see this going.
I think the D-backs are probably going to take 2 out of 3 minimum because they're just playing way better.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're just playing better ball. They're all clicking right now.
I think this is Cincinnati's time to wake up, though, if they're gonna.
They have to. Like we were saying like a week and a half ago with the D-backs, and they did.
I just wanted to touch on this, too, because last night, Ellie De La Cruz had a 10-pitch at-bat. Really phenomenal, and then there was a fastball, like, 5 inches off the plate, and it gets called strike 3.
Yeah, welcome to the Show.
Yeah, embarrassing stuff in that one. But we're going to keep a close eye on this series. I got the Reds taking 2 out of 3. You got the
D-backs taking 2 out of 3.
which makes them take 3 out of 4 in the series, which would be massive for them.
Prominently put them there. So we'll keep our eye on it.
Another very big series in the National League this weekend.
Definitely.
It's especially big for the hosting team. The Braves head to San Francisco to play the Giants. We're playing some pretty meh baseball right now. Like we said, they've kind of been skidding a bit. They're 4-6 in their last 10, and they're a half game out of that third spot. So
they've now fallen behind the D-backs.
Yeah, you meet up with baseball's best now. You better step up, you know?
It's a really tough matchup, though.
As tough as it can be. We're getting an incredible pitching matchup in Game 1. We got Spencer Strider, who is 14-4 with a 3.37 ERA.
3.57.
3.57. Yeah, sorry about that. And Logan Webb, who is 9-9 with a 3.36 ERA. That's what I was thinking. The 3 there. That's the battle of the 2 aces.
Yeah.
How do you see it going?
I think we're in for a pitcher's duel again.
Oh, most definitely. I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to see this game go poorly for one of those guys. I think the most electric result is them trying to outduel each other tonight.
Those are probably 2 of the top 5 pitchers in the National League this year, you'd think.
Yeah, I mean,
Gallen, Snell, and maybe somebody else mixed in there.
I would say, yeah, that's fair enough.
Those guys are up there for sure, so this is going to be definitely a marquee matchup. On a Friday night, too, everybody get in front of the TV.
Yeah. Game 2 is a little bit tougher, dude. This is where the matchup gets tough.
Go out to the ballpark, in fact, actually.
Honestly, if you're in San Francisco, that would be a gorgeous game to be
Yeah,
at.
absolutely.
Game 2 is going to be a little tough one for San Francisco. The Bats are going to have to wake up in that one because it's Max Fried, who's 4-1 on the year with a 2.83 ERA.
And they haven't announced a starter yet.
And the San Francisco Giants, don't have a starter, so it's probably going to be another one of those openers. And remember how bad the last one went?
That
was the Alexander getting bombed one.
Yeah, see, but they might try that again.
I think they're going to try that again.
That's not smart.
Not at all.
But I don't know, because if you look at the third game, the series finale, there's not even a single starter announced from either side, so...
Kind of funny, right, man? What is up with that?
So who knows what the Giants are going to do on Saturday, because then they have to think about Sunday.
San Francisco's been weird in that way, man. It feels like they have a +3 run differential, so they're better than a lot of teams in the wild card race. But I don't know, they're not like pushing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just seems like they've kind of plateaued.
And they have a lot of they'll have a lot of TBDs in a week. You'll see about 2 TBDs for them coming up every once in a while. It's just weird.
I don't really.
The rotation's inconsistent for a team trying to push for the playoffs.
Why didn't they trade for a starter?
I think they were trying to, right? Weren't they in on Giolito?
They should have tried a little bit harder.
I think they were in on Giolito, but he got nabbed by a team who definitely doesn't need him.
No, for sure not, because he's going to be sitting on the couch in about a month.
That's where I had Giolito landing when I predicted it, but I was wrong there.
I feel like it might have been a better fit there as well.
I think it would have been a better fit for, both of them. The team and the player would have been happier on that one. It's going to be a really tough matchup, like we said, for this Giants team that needs wins right now badly.
To have to go against the best team in the sport, man.
And the Braves, too.
And it's not really close. Like, who's close to them for the second best in terms of, like...
In terms of actual pure talent, I'm not taking anyone close to them.
I don't really think it's close. They're the only ones that are plus 200, and it's the next closest is plus 179.
Well, no, I believe are the Dodgers not higher?
No.
The Dodgers aren't in the 100? Oh, no, they're 149, yeah.
The Rangers are next at 179, so they have, like...
Yeah, I mean, the Braves are, like, the most impressive offensive team we've seen in forever, and I know right now, just know, the Braves aren't putting that foot off the gas in this series.
No, but, I mean, this could be, if things bounce correctly, this could be a potential playoff series down the road.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, especially with Arizona or San Francisco fighting with Arizona for that third wild card spot right now. I mean, if that team gets it, that could be the second round matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really tough because Arizona looks good again. I don't know what happened. Arizona seems to, like, flip a switch. Mm-hmm. Like,
which
they were
is bad
off.
Because if they skid in the month of September,
they could drop out. Yeah, see, like, it's too hard to predict with a month and a half.
Now, the NL wild card's as fun as it's ever been right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's fully packed.
Yeah, how do you see this series going overall? I mean, if you had to predict it.
It's really hard. I understand it's a home series for the Giants, but I don't think that matters.
Not too much.
When you're talking about the Braves, they're 38-22 on the road and 44-22 at home, so it doesn't really matter. They've lost the same amount of games at home as on the road.
Yeah, when I go to predict this one, I'm taking an easy 2 out of 3 or sweep from the Braves.
I think it's hard to disagree. It's gonna be like that for every series we predict with the Braves, though, because they're just so much better than everyone.
But with these pitching matchups too, I mean, I know there's no starters on Sunday, but dude, Fried's been lights out, and Spencer Strider, like we said, 14K per nine.
And I absolutely feel way more comfortable with the Braves pulling out an opener or somebody from the minors than the Giants.
I mean, they always work. They always work. They find a way to make it work. So.
I can't even really understand how they do it. They've scored 729 runs. Dude.
It would be fun to see the Giants punch up here, but I don't know if they are,
Yeah, it would be really cool to see them fight their way and maybe win the series.
Any Giants fans know that we are pulling for you in this series, but I don't know if we really think it's going to go.
I don't think it's very likely, unfortunately.
Yeah. But we'll keep an eye on that series for the weekend, and we'll definitely update you folks on Monday on how it goes.
100%. Moving on over to the American League side of things now. We're going to talk about the first place Texas Rangers. Don't really know about for how much longer with the way they're playing as they lose again.
Yeah, locked into another big 4 game against the first place Twins.
Yeah, the first place Twins, yeah. Regardless of who they're playing, it doesn't seem to matter right now as the Rangers just continue to spiral.
Yeah, Texas drops their 7th in a row, and they cling on to that first place spot by 1 game from Seattle and Houston. Me and you were talking about it last night. What are they, 2.5 up on? Yeah, they're 2.5 games up on Toronto for that 3rd wildcard spot.
It's not a guaranteed that they even make the playoffs anymore.
At deadline time, there is no way I would think that this team had a chance at missing the playoffs.
See, like, you know how we were just talking about the Braves, it doesn't matter if they're on the road or home? The Rangers are terrible on the road. They're 30-31, and they're dominant at home, 42-24.
Yeah, under 500 on the road.
That's crazy.
And I'm actually looking at it. Did you know they're under 500 against teams that are above 500? Yeah. They're 31-32 against teams that are above 500.
How are they still in first?
Does Texas really pass the eye test as a good team anymore?
The second half has made it so they really don't. Their first half was incredible, but they've just gone on a real fucking spiral.
It's so wild because their team is full of attractive ERAs and great batters, full of all-stars. I don't really understand what's happening.
They do still have the second best run differential in baseball.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, all of the pieces are there. How is this happening?
It must be that their pitching just isn't really helping them.
Yeah, well, we'll start with that because this first game goes 7-5 to Minnesota, like we said. First game of the 4-game set. Heendog goes out there and he pitches, Andrew Heaney, that is, pitches 4 1/3 innings. He gives up 3. So, I mean,
I was watching that game, dude. He threw 2 fastballs right down the middle to Michael Taylor in the 9-hole and gave up 2 home runs.
Yeah, he was in the struggle bus a bit.
You cannot give up 2 home runs to the 9th place hitter.
If you're going to miss, you want it to be out of the zone, not like Heendog was missing last night.
I just really quickly wanted to say about the Rangers, they're fascinating because they're 72-55, but their expected win-loss is 80-47. So they've lost 8 games that they were expected to win.
Bunch of games at the end. I think that's probably those blown saves by Chapman and everything.
That's got to be like one of the highest different. Like 8 games is a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot to lose. The other pitcher from Minnesota in that first game, Pablo Lopez, who they got from Miami.
He has been phenomenal for them, but
this
it wasn't.
Game, 5 innings pitched, he gives up 10 hits, 5 earned runs on 3 homers. That's pretty rough, man. But I wanted to give credit here to Josh Winder. I'm not really sure which one it is, but, man, he's been really good for them. He's 2-0 on the year for them. He goes 3 shutout here, does not give up a hit, and they end up getting the win because of him, really.
Yeah, absolutely shoved out of the pen.
Yeah, Twins get a 3 spot in the 8th inning, though. They look good at the plate. Correa gets an RBI double, and then Ryan Jeffers gets his 10th homer of the year to score him for a 2-run homer. That's 2 off Josh Sborz, and then he didn't get it out.
Sborz. I don't really know why they keep messing with that guy. He really hasn't been good for them.
You know, the reliever for Texas gives up 2 runs without getting an out, and then they get 1 more run off Will Smith in an inning. I mean, it's just a really disappointing day for the bullpen because they had this game.
There was a ton of home runs in that game, man. Mm-hmm. So many of the runs were just from home runs. It was Semien homered, Farmer homered, Seager homered, Taylor homered once and twice, Tavares homer. I mean, there's so many. Royce Lewis.
Again, like you said, I mean, maybe you called it then. I guess the pitching is just letting them down. But like I said, a lot of attractive ERAs, and we'll talk about that with the upcoming matchups they have. But first, I just wanted to touch on how disappointing of a game that was to be up and to give up a 3 spot when you're up 2.
Yeah, they went up.
They gave up a 3 spot when they were up 1 to go down 2.
Yeah, it was just the Semien homer. They were up
Yeah, they were up 5-4 and gave up a 3 spot.
Yeah, in the bottom of the 8th, too.
which
It's
is
another
just-
late loss.
Yeah, the game was theirs to lose, and they did it. They blew a game to the Snakes just this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like they've been doing that a lot.
So I guess really it's not as much the starters, but the bullpen really needs to get it under control.
That's always been an issue for the Rangers. They never really have had a dominant bullpen.
What's interesting coming up here is the next 3 games. We got Dane Dunning, who's 9-5 with a 3.19 ERA.
He's been really good. That was a good trade. That was the Lance Lynn trade that sent him to Chicago.
And pay attention to the ERAs for the Texas here, folks, because they're all looking good. But he faces up with Sonny Gray, who also has a great ERA, 6-6 with a 3.15. Sonny Gray is back, folks.
You guys need to score some runs for Sonny Gray and get him some wins.
For real, yeah.
6 wins when Dane Dunning has 9 is
Story
crazy.
of Minnesota's life, you know. Max Scherzer will go the next game, who he's obviously 12-5. He's a winning pitcher every year. 3.77 ERA, so another in the 3. He goes against the TBD. I think they're doing an opener there.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, so I mean that's a game that you really want to take. You have Scherzer against an opener. You got to step up for that one.
For sure.
And then the last one is Jordan Montgomery, who is at an 8. He's 8-10 with a 3.12.
That's insane.
And Bailey Ober is 4-4 with a 3.41. So another decent win-loss.
A lot of good ERAs in this series.
These are all threes across the board and a TBD.
Yeah.
Don't expect a lot of runs in these, but then again, maybe you do because that's just what the Rangers
It was
do.
7-5 yesterday. Yeah,
That's
it doesn't
the
have
thing,
to be
I
the
mean,
starters. It could be the Pens.
I was going to ask for your predictions on the series, but I'll just give mine first looking at these matchups. I just simply think that the starting pitching for the Rangers in this series is too good to overcome for the Minnesota Bats, and the Texas Bats are too good for the Minnesota pitching to overcome. So I think Texas is going to bounce back here.
What do you think they do in the next 3?
I hope for their sake they take all 3, but I think they take 2 for sure.
Yeah, they got to take all 3 to win the series, or else
Yeah.
they're going to at least... I mean, a split would be good for a team that's playing as well or as poorly as they have been.
As of right now, I'm giving him the Scherzer game because, I mean, he's just been really good for them besides last one where he had to work a bunch, but he still held it down, and that's against the TBD, so we don't know. And Dane Dunning's been... They could fully take all 3 of these, man.
Yeah, Montgomery shoved last time. He had 8 scoreless, and they just didn't score for him.
They could take all 3 of these games if the bats and the starting pitching steps up. So, I mean, I want to pick that they'll take the next 3, but I would say 2 out of 3 is the fair one.
Yeah, I think I'll say they'll take 2 out of 3. It's tough though because of they've been playing so poorly, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I know they're still that good team there. I don't know why they're playing like this. But they need to. They like we were saying about the Snakes and now the Reds and the Giants. Like, you guys need to wake up.
Texas has to put the foot on the gas pedal. And
You're running out of time here. Yeah, I mean, you got 2 teams on your ass now.
I wanted to ask you, how concerned are you for them? First off, losing the West, and then second off, losing the wild card.
Oh, I'm super concerned for them losing the West. I think Seattle's they're coming. Like, it's going to happen this year. This is their year to win it.
I'm fully with you on them losing the West. I actually don't think that they're going to hold down the West. I think it's going to be a real task to hold down that wild card spot at this point, the way they've been playing.
Yeah, I mean, unless they go back to the first half Texas Rangers where they're just out slugging everybody and people are not giving up 5 runs a night, I think Seattle's going to take the division. I don't want to say they drop behind Houston too, but it's close.
I was literally going to say, I think I would not be surprised if we see this Texas team competing as the 6th seed.
I just think that they're still better than the Blue Jays. They're better than the Red Sox.
Yeah, I do think that they will finish off and hold down that wild card spot, but I think it's a pretty good chance of it being the 3rd one.
That's really where it stops in the American League now.
Yeah.
After the Red Sox, it drops to 10 games.
It's over after that. Yeah.
So, I think they have a good chance to still hold on to a playoff spot because of how talented they are, but the West is definitely in danger.
Mm-hmm. The last thing I wanted to ask you about this series, and honestly just the league as a whole, do you have any concern for Minnesota's 6-game lead?
No.
Over Cleveland?
No.
No?
None. 0.
Yeah, I really don't have much either. Cleveland's a team that kind of just waved the white flag.
Cleveland's just not a good team.
Yeah, and with Minnesota having the pitching that we're talking about here, Pablo Lopez struggled in that game, but they have 3 guys coming up with 3 ERAs, and then...
Yeah, I mean, when your ace or one of your 2 best pitchers struggles and you still win the game 7-5, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, a disappointing game for Texas. I need that bullpen to step up for them.
For sure.
We're going to finish off that series we were talking about on Wednesday's episode, the Big 4 game that spanned Monday to Thursday between the Astros and the Red Sox. We were saying, man, the Astros really dominated in those first 2 games, but boy,
Well,
the Red Sox clapped back.
I was gonna say we also said that I said that the Red Sox had to win the next 2 probably
Yep.
to keep themselves alive in this race. I
And
mean,
they did.
They definitely did.
And it is what kept them alive in this race. Because,
Yep.
man, 2 games worse. 5.5 would look way worse.
5.5
than 3.5.
5.5 to 3.5 is a jump.
Yeah, and this first game was huge. We talked about how it was the Urquidy and Sale game. We said the pitchers needed to be good. I don't they were all right. It was a 7-5 win for the Red Sox. Sale went 5 innings for them. He gave up 4 earned. And Urquidy went 4 2/3, giving up 4 earned. So they really had the same day.
Basically,
Both
yeah.
of them get the no decision, and this is a back-and-forth game all game. I wanted to give credit, man. Did you see Alex Bregman pop the ball up behind home plate? Martin Maldonado kind of bodied him. Or not Martin Maldonado. The Red Sox catcher kind of bodied him from the back. Garrett Whitlock runs over full speed. That sliding play over his head.
Pitchers are athletes, too.
Garrett Whitlock makes the craziest play I've seen a pitcher make maybe ever.
Yeah, he was moving. He was definitely getting to that ball.
I don't know what the read was on the Red Sox catcher there.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he was looking.
He moved forward, bumped into Bregman, who was in front of the plate, and the ball was like so far behind the plate.
Well, luckily, he made the catch.
Yeah, so credit to him, but honestly, it's a big catch to make because the game goes 4-4 to extras, and then Duvall hits his 14th bomb of the year. And
He had a good series.
He scored Devers and Casas in the 10th there, which is huge.
He had a real good series.
Yainer Diaz comes up and he gets an RBI single in the bottom, but that's not going to be enough, and it is a save by Winchowski for the Red Sox, which is another phenomenal name.
Yeah, it's nice to close out a close game against a team that you really need to beat on the road as well.
They needed that game, and it being 7-5, you think it gave them a confidence boost? Because the next game, they absolutely trounced the Houston Astros.
Yeah, it was over early.
Haven't seen Houston play a game this ugly in so long. They lose 17-1 to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, they scored 1 in the first, 4 in the second, and 6 in the third.
We were giving so much love to JP France on Wednesday's episode, and he gives up 11 hits and 10 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings pitched.
Yeah, he got absolutely shelled.
And I wanted to talk about who closed that game for the Astros. The last pitcher on the mound, Martin Maldonado.
He's a two-way player.
He gives up 5 hits and 4 earned runs in an inning pitched. Really ugly game for JP France and Houston as a whole.
That's a season changer.
For both of these teams.
I'm just saying for JP France as an individual.
Oh, yeah.
He went from like a 2.75 to like a 3.
He's at a 3.51 now.
That's like almost a full run he added yesterday. That's crazy, man.
Really ugly, and I know he's not happy with it.
He can't be.
Yeah, I hope he gets it back on track next time, but
It can't be much worse than that.
That was really ugly, but Boston has a 3-game coming up against the Dodgers in Fenway.
That's tough.
One of the most classic series you can have, the Dodgers visiting Boston in Fenway.
2018 World Series.
Yeah. Houston, they need a good series after that 70-1 loss. They have a 3-game in Detroit.
Yeah, dude, losing by 16 runs is absolutely insane.
And the most interesting thing about this, these two teams meet up again Monday in Boston.
Could you imagine? That's even crazier. That's crazy scheduling, but like, could you imagine being somebody that bought a ticket to that game as an Astros fan?
Yeah, I don't think you're lasting 5 innings before you leave.
No way, dude. It was 11-0 in the 3rd inning, bro. I'm out of there.
That is the worst.
There's no way.
Imagine if you had like the really nice seats for that one,
and it seems like it was a frustrating game because they had 10 hits as a team and only 1 run, so they just weren't scoring the guys.
Yeah, it's as frustrating as a baseball game could be. I wanted to touch on the next series. How do you see that Boston series going at home against the Dodgers?
The Dodgers are a force, man. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Dodgers are going to win that series.
Yeah, I think it's a really tough week. I don't really know. I mean, there was like 100% chance that the Dodgers and the Astros were good coming into the year. So why is Boston scheduled playing both of them 3 straight series?
I don't know why they do that to some teams.
It's really unfair for them at this point in the year. I'm not happy about that, but I hope they step up and they take 2 out of 3 from them. I don't see it, though.
I always enjoy seeing Boston in or around the playoff picture.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to... I'll take Boston 2 out of 3.
Wow.
I don't know if they do it, but I really hope they do.
I mean, they're a pretty decent ball club. They're almost 10 games over 500.
Plus 45 on the run differential.
Yeah, like they're not a joke of a team.
No, I like them.
They could win baseball games for sure. I mean, it's in Fenway, so
I hope they take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna give
Houston needs 2 out of 3.
I'm gonna give the Dodgers 2 out of 3 though.
That's fair enough. Houston needs at least 2 out of 3 from Detroit.
They need to sweep
I
Detroit.
think they need to sweep Detroit too, but they need 2 out of 3.
You never really can, like, say, like, you need to sweep, especially
No.
for a team that's in the playoffs. But, like, a team like Detroit has to be taken care of,
Because-
especially after losing 17-1. You guys need to wake up.
And the reason Houston really needs to take care of them is because Seattle has another series coming against the Royals. Seattle beat up against the Royals last week. The Royals played a competitive series, but they couldn't take the games.
I'm telling you, dude, by Monday, we could be talking about the Seattle Mariners as a first-place team.
Don't be surprised if we are.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if we are, because those two teams are in much tougher matchups. I mean, Houston's got a pretty easy one, but
I'm all in on them.
yeah, because Erod goes against them tonight, right? Houston.
I believe it is him, yes. I don't know, though, 100%.
Yeah. No, it's Valdez versus Manning. Okay, so I mean, it'll be a big. It's a
like-
big test to step up for Valdez tonight.
Yeah, he's been struggling a little bit, but Framber needs to wake up as well. Much like the rest of the Astros. I mean, 4-6 in the last 10. You're almost not in the playoffs at all anymore. Like, if the team behind you wasn't playing 500 ball over the last 10, I mean, they would probably be out of the playoffs right now.
Houston and Detroit is your MLB TV free game of the day. If you guys want to tune into that, if you don't have the service,
Absolutely.
we'll keep an eye on both of those series this weekend. And there's so many interesting ones, so we can't wait to talk baseball with you guys on Monday.
Always.
Thanks to everyone who watched and listened. As always, I thought this was a pretty fun episode, talking ball with you guys again.
Yeah, absolutely. I always enjoy these.
And thank you so much for listening to episode 15 of the 9 Frames podcast.
I think as we've gone on, I've realized that my favorite episode to record is the weekend one.
Yeah, usually the setting up the weekend series. Basically, I mean, it's going to be the most fun because baseball loves to set up a big weekend series.
Maybe that's what it is, yeah.
They
but
try to schedule
It
those.
just seems like the games are just so much more intense.
That's why it's fun talking on Monday, because we're recapping all the series from the weekend that were always so fun to watch.
Yeah, I really can't complain about Wednesday either, so honestly, it's all fun.
It's all baseball.
Yep.
This was episode 15 of the 9 Frames podcast, and this is Friday, August 25th, 2023. I'm Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
You could catch us on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. We're on Spotify at 9 Frames. And we are on X at 9 Frames Pod. Please give us follows and subscribes on our X and YouTube. It means a lot, folks.
It would always be appreciated.
And it's always fun talking ball with you guys. We'll see you on Monday, and we'll do it again.
Enjoy the weekend.